a very special build-up to the England series with a very close friend and an absolute legend of Indian cricket, Ravichandran Ashwin. Yes, now he is more popular on his platforms than any of our platforms, and soon will take jobs away. That's fine. That's fine. But he is still receptive to requests. And this has been one long request made to Ash for a long time that we've got to build it together. By the way, I'm recording it at 6 a.m. India time, 6 a.m. England time, because that's the only slot that was available that he had given me. But welcome, welcome. Yeah, seriously,
What,
seriously. You are
what,
now.
what are people going to think when you say all this, man?
I mean, what else? This is the truth. I never sort of mask things. Anyway, but thank you very much for joining me. Love the straight talk on your platform, and a lot of people. In fact, when I was driving from Oxford to I think London, all of a sudden your message came, and the driver who was sort of getting us there said, "Is that Ravi Ashwin?" I said yes. He said, "Can you tell me that I am the greatest fan of his channel?" I said, "Yes, I will." And he said, "My whole family," this guy is from Chennai and has a business here, "my whole family religiously follows his YouTube channel and every broadcast that he does. So I need to put that on record for you."
Thank you. Very
Well,
humble.
welcome, Ash. Transition, young team, new captain, vice captain. How are you looking at it?
Okay, firstly, Boria, I mean, I need to address the first segment that you spoke about, taking away jobs, giving appointments. Let's just dwell upon that a little bit, right? I was talking to one very close friend of mine who's now into broadcasting. You can probably take your guesses at who it is. I don't want to throw him under the bus, but we were talking about how you, for the first time, I'm 38 years old, right? Like for a very large part of your career, you do things for passion. You wake up in the morning, you do certain things because you have to do it, and then when it becomes work, you end up doing it religiously because it's what you have to do, right? But once you're done, one of the greatest liberations you find is to be able to do what you want to do on your own terms. And I'm in that phase of my life where I want to do things on my terms, and I totally enjoy connecting with fans. And thank you so much for the person who dropped you and said that he's following my channel. Real props to you and to him for bringing it out here. But look, Bore, I think it's a very interesting test series. I'm very, very excited. I would be playing the TNPL, and hence I want to be able to travel and watch the test series, the first one or two test matches. But really looking forward to it. We can call this a transition, but genuinely speaking, it is not as big a transition as it would have been in the past. Let's look at maybe some of the other cricketers who've gone on tours to England before. Let's even look at Rahul Dravid. Let's look at Saurav Ganguly. When they went on the 1996 tour to England, what did they quite have? They didn't have anything. They wouldn't have faced fast bowlers 140 because all they had was Javagal Srinath, Venkatesh Prasad, the Doda Ganesh, or Paras Mambre. And once they ended up bowling in the nets, they had nobody to service them. Like, that's it. And they would probably go on for hour. And now you look at the throwdown that you have, look at the A tours that you have, the amount of exposure the current generation of cricketers have is just unbelievable. And when you look at a Sai Sudarshan, who would probably make his debut in this test series, probably within quotes, he has actually faced a Mitchell Stark, Pat Cummins, a Josh Hazelwood, a Gerald Coetzee, a Kagiso Rabada in the nets. And he will be embarking on this English tour, which is not going to be as alien as it was for some of the other cricketers in the past. And also he's played at Surrey, knows a thing or two about what it is to play at the Oval. Vikram Solanki is his coach at Gujarat Titans. So IPL in more than one way has helped these cricketers hone their skills and also build on their confidence. So I'm really, really excited and looking forward to this series, not for just the Indian boys, but also for what approach the English team is going to take. It's going to be very interesting.
I was speaking to a number of English journalists, and for example, Tim Wigmore from the Telegraph, he had come to see me, and he was like, you guys are saying that India in transition and England favorites and all of that, but we actually think India has a chance and a strong chance. He said, look, I still think, for example, Archer will not play, even if he plays maximum of one test. Atkinson, touch and go for the first one. Lots of injuries. So it's not as if it will be a walk in the park for England. How do you kind of give Shubman as a captain? You've played with him. Rishabh as a vice captain. You've played with him. For what I said was, there is no Ashwin, there is no Virat, there is no Rohit. All of a sudden, you take 300 test matches away. So that is the kind of relative. For us, it will take a little bit of time to get adjusted to that, because you three have been the constants in Indian cricket in the last decade. Shubman as captain and Rishabh as vice captain, how do you rate them?
Look, I'll start the question from where you began, the origin, and then if I do miss out on any of the points, please remind me. 300 test matches, that's a lot of experience. It's always, you can't buy experience in a shop, right? It's very tough to replace experience. But when the test match is on the line, when it's in the balance, when you're up against it, experience really counts for something. Sometimes in T20 cricket, experience might have few scars. You might end up doing mistakes. But when you're playing a test match, it counts for everything in the world. It will be missed, no doubt. The captaincy, the leadership, all those things will be missed. But let's not make one mistake, Boria. The recent tours on all these countries like Australia, South Africa, or England, India have done a very, very good job of being in the game despite losing players at different situations. Now let's see why that has happened. We're talking about batters. You spoke about Shubman, Rishabh, which I'll come to. But let's get this straight. Some of these great wins and competitive losses have come because of the bowlers. Indian bowling is by far one of the, not if the best, is one of the best going around in the world. Let's take the recent test series in Australia. That could have been, we didn't bat very well after the Perth test, but that could have been like a pushover in any other time. But the Indian bowlers kept you interested all the time. And there have been times when the Australian bowlers were struggling to keep the pressure on. There was one small podcast where I said if Boland hadn't played that series, India might have had an even better chance, for which people came after this and that. Those are opinions. People can have their opinions. The reason I said that was how well Boland bowled to the left-handers in comparison to the rest of the attack that they had. Likewise, they're going to miss Jimmy Anderson. They're going to miss Stuart Broad, who's incredibly good against the left-handers. And look at the left-handed lineup you have. Ravindra Jadeja, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Rishabh Pant. Now coming to...
Sai Sudarshan.
Sorry?
Sai Sudarshan also.
Sai Sudarshan. Now coming into this whole topic, because of this battalion of left-handers that India has got, who do they have to challenge the left-handers on wickets that are going to be placid if fast ball is the route they're going to take? Now, if they're going to play on flat pitches, who do we have? We can actually bank and go back to Kuldeep Yadav, who can really pick those wickets on really flat wickets if they're going hammer and tongs. If anyway they're going to go at 4 runs and over, Kuldeep's going to be interested in the game. I think Indian bowling has got this. They've got it covered. Jasprit Bumrah is coming back from an injury, but there is enough depth for you to be able to rotate and keep the English batters under check. I personally think if Joe Root has a very good series, England's going to have a good series too. But if Joe Root is kept under the lid a little bit, India is going to really have a good chance. I don't think India is the underdog here. I think India have got a very good chance, and there is pedigree in that batting line.
You mentioned Kuldeep Yadav, and I was kind of speaking to a number of people here, and everybody is saying that, look, somebody like a Jamie Smith at number 7 has never even faced left-arm wrist spin. A lot of these England batters, had Johnny Bairstow played, he would have had his number. So Kuldeep Yadav is being talked about a lot in this country already. But there is this thing, and we've seen this with you, cloudy conditions, no Ashwin. We will see Leeds green, no Kuldeep. India has done such things in the past. Would you kind of recommend that whatever happens, go with Kuldeep Yadav, come Leeds? Because look, he's a possible match winner there. Because we've made such kind of mistakes in the past. Your thoughts on that? I don't want to get into a controversy, but when you talk about the balance of that bowling attack, because Ravindra Jadeja is a constant, absolutely. Anyone else, 2 spinners, or Leeds again, 4 fast bowlers, 3 fast bowlers? Because from what it's like at the moment, it might just be Nitish Reddy at 7 and Shardul Thakur at 8. Your thoughts?
Look, I think it's a very interesting debate. One of the reasons that's constantly raised up about who you're playing at number 8 has risen because of the inability of our Indian fast bowlers to be able to make runs. Okay, this is very largely spoken about. But let's face one thing. You said you're building upon controversy, mistakes in the past. I would never go to the past for accusing something, but I'll always go to the past for learning something. What's happened in the past is that India have lost test matches when they played their best bowlers, right? You've played a best bowling attack, but you've lost a match because your batsmen haven't come through, right? Now, interestingly enough, when you have 7 batters who are doing their job, And if they're not able to do their job to the best of their abilities in a particular test match, you're short of runs, the bowlers are not to be blamed. Unfortunately, like the belief that you show in the batters, there should be belief on the bowlers. The batters will eventually come through. And when they do come through, your best bowling attack will win you test matches. Unfortunately, Indian job, right? Coaching an Indian team or captaining an Indian team is an absolute honor, but it also comes with a lot of pressure, right? So when you do lose a test match, you're pushed to a corner of saying, okay, let's make a change here. What do I make a change for? Let's increase the batting depth. Rather, try and get your bowlers to make 10 runs more, which is a much more easier concept to do for you to play a good bowling attack. But having said all that and done, I believe conditions are king. And if there is going to be grass on the pitch, if there is going to be moisture in the pitch, which I think England should leave, if they don't, I think they're missing a trick. If they don't leave moisture, then Kuldeep Yadav must be a certainty and a fix in that team. But if there is moisture in that pitch, I think India will be in a bit of a catch-22 because I think Kuldeep should be there. So should Jasprit Bumrah. Whenever Jasprit is available and fit to be playing for that Indian test side, he should be number one. Alongside him, if you can play a Ravindra Jadeja who can give you control and bat in the top 5-6, and then if you have Kuldeep Yadav, now we're talking about a serious bowling attack which can dismiss any batting lineup in any conditions. And don't mistake, Siraj has been a warhorse. He's continuously delivered all the time. Even if he's had a few games here and there, he's delivered. So that's a serious bowling attack. We should have the ability to look at the bowling front separately and batting front separately. Just because your batsmen fail, a bowler shouldn't give way if he's your best bowler.
I kind of agree with that because I think, Nitish Reddy, Shardul Thakur, when I look at them, Shardul, for example, had a fantastic domestic season. I kind of, and no disrespect for anybody. I think Nitish Reddy was a kind of a compromise choice that, okay, will give me 5 overs, give me 7 overs, and is a decent batter. But instead, if 8, 9, 10, 11 is somebody like Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj, Arshdeep Singh, or Shardul Thakur, and Shardul at 7, and thereafter, Jasprit Bumrah, Arshdeep Singh, Mohammad Siraj, and Kuldeep Yadav. You have that meat in that attack rather than making a compromise. I don't know whether India will do that or not. But you've not addressed the question on Shubman and Rishabh. Thoughts on Shubman and Rishabh, captain and vice captain?
See, look, I'll start with Rishabh first. I think Rishabh is I think you have all these bonds, right, where they say AAA rated bonds, right? So I think Rishabh is a stand hallmark, high quality test batsman. I think he can walk into that team as a pedigree test batsman, even if he doesn't have to hold on to the gloves. Fantastic test batter. Sometimes you can question the choice of shot selection, and sometimes, but that's the way he plays, okay? I mean, it comes with it. He's able to give you match-winning knocks. I'm sure he'll rectify that and become even more consistent. It's only a matter of time before he finds out that formula, but I think he's a high-quality test batsman. He should be walking in at number 5. Number 6 is a bit too low for him, in my view. Number 5, he's got a great defense. He's going to take down spin once again. I haven't seen a lot of bowlers nick him off or get him out LBW. Doesn't get out a lot. He has a lot of time on hands. Rishabh, the batter, is box office viewing, and I will definitely be glued onto the TV sets if he's batting. Shubman Gill, a lot of responsibility. I'm sure he's already overwhelmed by the kind of attention he's got being the test captain. It's not an easy job, high pressure job. But if I was Shubman going into that series, I would be wanting to get off to a really, really good start as a batter. Because England can be a very, very tough place to bat if it starts going around a lot. Shubman will, as a batter, will have a few question marks in his own head. Make no mistakes, runs bring you confidence, and confidence will rub onto captaincy. So I think if he makes some early mark in the series, I think India will have a great series. But if your captain doesn't get off to a great start, there will be a few questions raised. And I really wish that boy very, very well because I think he's a special player. However said and done, I think Rishabh goes into the series with a lot more certainty and a lot more surety than Shubman does. I think Shubman getting off to a good start is very, very important for the Indian team.
I think you've not said a lot of things in what you've just said because, Shubman Gill is a potential choice rather than performance choice. We've all seen potential in Shubman Gill. We've said captain and gone ahead. And this is a very candid conversation. That's why I'm saying this, that last 4 years, no runs in Sena countries in that sense, 35 or whatever the average is, an Indian captain under pressure in England, it could just go downhill if it doesn't start well. Nobody is debating his potential. He has enormous potential. But to translate that into performance, maybe this England series will be important. And temperamentally, even say Australia, Sydney, that 1 over before lunch jumping out to Nathan Lyon, such kind of things have to be avoided as far as Shubman Gill is concerned. But you know, when I look at this lineup, people haven't talked about the importance of Ravindra Jadeja. I was looking at a podcast with you, and you also mentioned that he was a leadership candidate. I think Ravindra Jadeja overseas has been kind of ignored. But look at some of the impact knocks he's played. Look at the kind of control he's exerted. Word on Ravindra Jadeja and the importance of Ravindra Jadeja.
Look, I just want to dwell upon the first part of Shubman. Yes, you spoke about a couple of decisions he's made while he's batted in important situations in a game. I think Test cricket or any form of the game is a lot about game awareness, right? And game awareness, some people have it, some people develop it, and some people just take time to, get accustomed to it. But with respect to Shubman, there are a couple of instances which I have noticed, which shows me that this potential is translating into solid meat. I'll tell you why. We are playing this test match in Ranchi against England. A very tricky game. One of the finest test matches in the recent times that I've been a part of. And Shubman's second innings 50 spoke volumes of the attitude the boy has got, right? You spoke about potential. Potential is an overrated word in my book. Talent is also an overrated word. Unless and until you know how to utilize them, it's a wasted cost. But that particular innings spoke volumes about that boy, about what he can do. He's able to adapt. He wants it. In this day and age, wanting Test cricket with such potential is a rarity. And the next game he goes to Dharamshala, plays a fabulous knock again in that Test match. So these are things that speaks volumes and holds him in good stead. Like I said, Shubman Gill, the batter, if he's able to make the adaptation that Virat did in 2018 after the 2014 Test series had, which is what we all should hope for. Many a times I feel as a fan or a stakeholder of the game from the outside, we want these guys to fail. No.
Not at, yeah.
Want him to succeed for the welfare of Indian cricket, and I do want that for him. The next part of your question was about Ravindra Jadeja.
Just one more, because you see, I see when you just said that people want these guys to fail. I've written this at length that the idea of Indian cricket now is social media and trolls, and it is as if it will give an opportunity for people to jump on. The fact is, Shubman Gill scores in England, Test cricket will benefit. A stronger India means stronger Test cricket. You want your captain to stand up and make that Virat transition. And there's no question, when Shubman bats, pleasing to the eye, ability, you can see all of that. And that's when I said, you want this guy to just kind of cut down on these things, because it will be huge pressure. If he doesn't perform in the first couple of games, people will go up in arms and all of that. And it's not going to be easy. So yes, fingers crossed for Shubman Gill. One further point on Gill. You mentioned, I think the words you used was, he wants to do red ball and has that awareness. So is he when Virat retired, a lot of us said this guy was the ambassador for red ball batting or red ball cricket. Do you reckon Shubman Gill and Rishabh Pant are the two ambassadors for red ball cricket going forward?
Uriya, the first half of the statement is something that I don't agree in the first place. Cricket is way, way higher than anybody that's played the game or will play the game. I think we don't need people to be, above the game at all. We all know you've been covering the game for such a long time. And I love this game. I respect the game so much. Nobody that walks the park is somebody that does good for the game. The game does good by them, or the game does bad by them at a certain stage. So I understand this. I love Virat. I've had some great conversations, no doubt. But the fact of the matter is, he's come, played the game, left the game in a great place. It's for somebody else to now take it forward, which lies with a lot of these kids. And I have a lot of time for a Rishabh Pant, a Shubman Gill, a Dhruv Jurel. Let's not forget Dhruv Jurel. He's part of the store. And I think that boy's got unbelievable potential, which is going to come out in some stage. Yashasvi Jaiswal, looking forward to these guys carrying this baton forward. But what I'd love to see with them is the attitude and the want and the desire that Virat showed. You know what that means, right? Like, Virat showed the desire to be wanting to be that alpha. He wanted to be the best. 5 days of the game, not just with a bat, with what he did on the field, the intensity, the energy. Can they replicate that? It's all fine. Sachin Tendulkar graced the game. Virat Kohli came and they all said he's going to take the baton, which is what he said in 2011, but he walked the talk. And now they're saying somebody else should. And we don't know who that somebody is going to be, but definitely that somebody has got to imbibe characters that Virat or Sachin Tendulkar showed all those years ago. So for me, carrying this legacy forward is the responsibility of every single one that's on the tour. That includes the coach, the staff, everybody. You make those cricketers, but it's for them to show the energy and desire to be able to replicate that. But I would be failing in my duties if I didn't touch upon Ravindra Jadeja. Like the kind of impact he's had in that batting lineup is amazing, Gloria. The way he's battered, the way he's shouldered responsibility, the way he's taken time and eaten into the attack is sometimes led to some unbelievable victories. There was a Trent Bridge knock that he played. Of course, that test didn't result in us winning because it was washed out the next day. We should have ideally won that test match. The impact he had when he went out to bat and the kind of knock he's played, the one at Lords where Ishant Sharma got those 7 wickets. He's actually been a very silent warrior in terms of the impact he's had in test matches as a batter in Sena countries especially.
Last 5 minutes on the show. Even we talk up coaches, despite the fact that cricket still it's not football, that it's the manager who has control. But having said that, I mean, the New Zealand Test series at home, again, we made the blunders with pitches, and you don't need, at that point, Ravi Ashwin was also there. You don't need turners. I mean, you need good wickets, and we know you have won us Test matches and Ravindra Jadeja. The fact of the matter is the result was 3-0 against India. India lost. Pressure on Gautam Gambhir because one knows that, yes, feisty and fight and all of that, but you've lost Australia. You've lost a home series against New Zealand. White ball, Champions Trophy, I'm not going to bring it in because red ball fundamentally different. Gautam Gambhir, massive series for him also and his staff.
Look, I think what do you really center this around in terms of what Gautam can bring to the table? Because he's lost 3 players in the last 3 months and who are all coming in with potential experience. In all honesty, let's just face this. This is the sort of team that he would really enjoy being in, right? Because it's a team that's completely young. They're going to literally want to eat out of his hand, like want to learn from him, want to ask him a lot of questions. I personally think he'd be very, very comfortable around the dressing room dealing with a lot of these guys. He can add a lot of value to them. The only thing that I would want to see through this series is if you think it's going to be a bed of roses, no. If you think it's going to be a real hard one, maybe not, because I think this team's got a lot of ability. The one thing that I'd love to see through and through the series is a lot of stability, Gloria. A stability around the players playing in the 11. One loss not dictating into 3-4 changes for every game. Allow the players to groom in, because this is a young team we are talking about. I know if it's an experienced team and you're not getting the results, jiggling it is important because if the seniors are not contributing, then the team's not getting anywhere. But with the youngsters, the security of place is very important. They should feel secure around the team environment. They should feel like leaders in many ways. We talk about captaincy. In all honesty, everybody leading their space very well will ensure that the results are going to be there for the taking. So I think feeling comfortable around the team, maybe getting the best out of somebody like a Jadeja, getting the best out of somebody like Kuldeep, ensuring that Jassi is in a great space to be able to deliver when he walks out to bowl, looking after his body, having that communication and having a lot of calm and stability will dictate how this series pans out. Because I'm sure we'll win test matches there if all the boys are given the security that they deserve.
Final question has to be on Jasprit Bumrah. When I see the series, Leeds 20th June, and then you finish on 24th. Here I'm saying results will happen unless there is weather. Next test match is 2nd July. So you're giving Jasprit Bumrah whole 8-9 days, 7-8 days. The third test match, 3 days, Lords. Fourth, again, 8 days, Manchester. If you don't play Lords, you are giving your body close to 2 weeks to recover. How would Ravichandran Ashwin have handled Jasprit Bumrah? 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4? Because clearly you are giving him that kind of break. Obviously, he knows his body the best. But Jasprit Bumrah there for India in either 4 or 3. 3 for sure, one expects him to play. But even that one last one, Test Series 2-2, going into the Oval, Jasprit Bumrah not there and there would have made a fundamental difference to India. Your thoughts on how to handle Jasprit Bumrah?
Look, Boria, I think I'm going to embark on a very, very deep subject. So forgive me if it takes a minute or two more than what I must. Uh,
Your time, not mine. I would have kept going for any time.
the word on this is, how do you handle not just Jasprit Bumrah? How do you handle your bowling attack, the fast bowling battalion that you've got, or even the spin bowling battalion that you've got? We are in an era where there is a lot of science, there is a lot of data that's available. The Indian team has a small device on the backside every single time they walk out. It's called the catapult, right? I'm not going into the name of the brand, but it's a tracking device, and this device gives you the high speed at which you're running. It gives you the amount of distance you've covered. It gives a lot of fascinating data, right? Now, there are two sides to the coin. One is the data you have, and the second is the interpretation of this data, right? Only people that can interpret it well and also have the ability to transfer it will be able to utilize this really well. We have this data currently being used by the trainers who put the chip on your backside, and then you get data arriving from it. Then you've got a medical team sitting in the NCA. Then you've got a medical science team, which is the physiotherapist and the doctor that's inside the Indian team. Now, I have a serious question to ask, and I'm sure Jassi would be listening to this, and I hope he has a view on this. I would like to know, in the last 2 or 3 years, when Jassi has actually gone through this tough phase, where he's gone into surgery once and he's gone into a break the other time, is what is the maximum peak capacity running speed for Jassi? And what is the dropping point, and when has he felt jaded? What is the speed at which he's going when he's tired? What is the maximum speed is achieved when he's going on well? Because every bowler has a rhythm and the run-up speed. The run-up speed and the movement around the park and the fluidity around the park will tell you whether the bowler is tiring out or not. It is very, very essential, even more paramountly important for a fast bowler to be able to look at with this sort of an eye. If you have numbers, Boria, you will know when to rest a player. If you have numbers that is dictating the fact that this is when he tires out and this is when he'll get a break. Because as of now, we are going with the feel of it. We are because now it's 2 times and it's repeated for Jassi twice that he's going to say, hell with your numbers. I don't want it anymore. Because that's not happened in the past, where Jassi has been dictated with proper data science and given the ability to make a informed decision. That's not happened in the past. So now you have to go with the feel of it. If Jasprit goes and turns up and says, my body is not feeling okay, I can't turn up for this test, you'll have to throw your hands up and say, okay, Jassi, take a break. Right? He is not going to come back unless and until he's going to feel all right. Now it's a feel thing. If you had the data in the past and if you can crunch on the data, even now it's not too late. You will have to go back, crunch on this data and come out and then figure out when he's broken down. If that can be done, we'll know when Jassi is in the prime optimal position. You can actually figure this out even while he's running at training, even while he's gymming, what sort of loads he's able to lift, what sort of dynamic ability he's able to put on the field, how is he practicing. If you can track that down, you can definitely nail this down with a lot more optimum intelligence than just the feel of it. When you go with the feel of it, you can get it wrong.
I think that is the high point of the show, the use of sports science. We all talk about sports science and the progress of sports science and the use of sports science. Ravichandran Ashwin has just broken down how sports science and the back room and the support can be utilized. And he started the show saying Saurav Ganguly and Rahul Dravid in 1995-6, there was no sports science. Things have moved, and make the most of what you have at your disposal, because objectification rather than subjective assessment could give India a better understanding of how to utilize Jasprit Bumrah.
See, there is one side which is sports science, but I wouldn't say just go with it, right? There is two things to it. When you go to a doctor, when he's treating you, he not only treats you according to what your blood reports say, he also goes by the symptoms that you have. So, for example, Jassi has gone through a certain thing and the numbers are indicating it. I would go to Jassi and say, hey, Jassi, you know what? This looks like it's dropped a bit. How do you feel? And if he says, I'm feeling okay, I want to go, I'll go with the player. But if I'm saying this is matching up with how he's feeling,
but it kind of gives a warning also, or an understanding that, look, you can go and inform a player rather than him having to break down. So it kind of gives us parameters based on which we can judge better and be prepared better. So that's see, no artificial intelligence or sports science or data can replace human intelligence or human endeavor. That is taken. But the mesh of the two is the need of the hour. I think we have got it, but we haven't utilized it from what you just.
Informed decision making is the key. I think that's it. I think
this will be a fascinating series. Ravichandran, Ashwin, I know you will be playing the TNPL. Hopefully later on, maybe Lords, maybe the second, third test match. Hopefully you will be in this country and we will physically be able to catch up. But always a pleasure, absolute pleasure talking cricket with you. But yes, I repeat that you will take away all our viewers and that is the future. So you will employ all of us at some point in time. I'll close the show on that note, but we must collaborate. One thing I have to say this. I will always and always remember that call in Paris. And the next Olympic Games, you are coming with me for Rev Sports to cover the Los Angeles Olympic Games. I will take that offer on.
I'll absolutely love it. Look forward.
Thank you very much. Stay well, stay happy, and keep doing great work. Absolute pleasure. Thanks a lot.